For 30 years, Toyota owned hybrid technology. The Prius wasn't just a car. It was proof that Japan's engineering was untouchable. Then a Chinese company nobody was watching built an engine that gets 106 miles per gallon. And Toyota has no answer. That number is real. It's certified. It's rolling off production lines in Shenzhen right now in a car that costs $14,000. The average new car gets 28 miles per gallon. The Prius gets 57. This Chinese engine gets 106. That's not a typo. It's a production car you can buy today. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why Toyota is scrambling. The company is called BYD, Build Your Dreams. Most Americans have never heard of it. In China, it just became the world's largest seller of electric and hybrid vehicles. It passed Tesla and Volkswagen. The weapon it used wasn't a pure electric car. It was this hybrid system called DMI. The MI stands for intelligent. Every hybrid you know, the Prius, the Accord hybrid, the Ford Escape, they're all gas cars with an electric assist. The engine is in charge. The DMI is the opposite. It's an electric car with a gas range extender. The electric motor does all the work. The tiny gas engine exists only to charge the battery when it runs low. That one inversion changes everything. In a traditional hybrid, the gas engine has to be big enough to move the car by itself. That means weight and complexity. In the DM-Fi, the gas engine is a 1.5-liter, 4-cylinder producing just 110 horsepower. It never drives the wheels directly. It only spins a generator at its most efficient RPM and makes electricity. No transmission, no variable load. That's the trick Toyota spent billions trying to perfect. The electric motor is a 145 kilowatt unit, 194 horsepower, handling all acceleration and torque. The battery is an 18.3 kilowatt-hour blade pack using BYD's lithium iron phosphate chemistry. On a full charge, the car drives 55 miles on electricity alone. When the battery hits 25%, the gas engine wakes up and runs at 2,500 RPM. Just one speed, the most efficient speed. At that speed, burning premium fuel, it produces electricity at a rate that gives the car 106 miles per gallon combined. Compare that to the Prius. The 5th generation Prius gets 57 miles per gallon, the best hybrid Toyota has ever made after 30 years of refinement. The DMI beats it by 86%. The Prius costs $28,000 in the United States. The BYD Chin Plus DMI costs $14,000 in China, half the price. Nearly double the efficiency. BYD is profitable at that price. Toyota built the Prius to save the planet. BYD built the DMI to win a price war. One leads to a $28,000 statement car. The other leads to a $14,000 mass-market weapon. China is playing a different game. BYD started in 1995 making rechargeable batteries for cell phones. The founder is Wang Chuanfu, a government researcher studying battery chemistry who borrowed $3,000 from relatives and started a factory in Shenzhen. For a decade, BYD made batteries for Motorola and Nokia. By 2003, they were one of the largest battery makers in the world. Then Wang made a bet that looked insane at the time. He bought a failing car company. Analysts called it a disaster. What does a battery guy know about building cars? Apparently everything. Wang wasn't trying to build a car company. He was trying to build the world's largest battery company. The best way to sell batteries at scale is to put them in cars. BYD launched its first hybrid in 2008. It flopped. The battery was too small. The range was terrible. The price was too high. But Wang kept iterating. By 2021, BYD had the chemistry figured out. The blade battery, a lithium iron phosphate pack that's safer, cheaper, and lasts longer than nickel-cobalt cells everyone else uses. Lithium iron phosphate doesn't catch fire when punctured. Tesla uses nickel. So does GM and Volkswagen. Nickel has higher energy density but is expensive and volatile. BYD went the opposite direction. Make the battery bigger, safer, and cheaper, then build the whole car around it. The DMI launched in 2021. In 2022, BYD sold 911,000 DMI vehicles. In 2023, they sold 1.4 million. In 2024, over 2 million. That's a landslide. The DME isn't just winning in China, it's landing everywhere else. Thailand is the test market. BYD opened a factory there in 2024. In Brazil, BYD just became the top EV brand, ahead of Volkswagen and GM. In Europe, tariffs are the only thing slowing them down. The EU imposed a 45% tariff on Chinese EVs because they couldn't compete on price. When your only defense is a tariff, you've already lost the technology race. The United States hasn't let BYD in yet, but American automakers are bleeding money on EVs. Ford lost $4.7 billion on electric vehicles in 2023. GM lost $3.1 billion. Rivian loses money on every truck it sells. Meanwhile, BYD makes a profit on a $14,000 car. Toyota isn't standing still. In 2024, they announced a new hybrid system for 2026, supposed to get 70 miles per gallon. That's a 23% improvement over the current Prius. It's also 34% worse than what BYD is already shipping. Toyota is catching up to where BYD was 3 years ago. The problem for Toyota is philosophical. Toyota built hybrids to extend the life of the internal combustion engine. BYD built hybrids to kill the gas engine. The DMI is designed to make the combustion engine irrelevant. And because BYD makes its own batteries, it controls the one part of the supply chain that Toyota doesn't. That's a structural advantage. BYD isn't alone anymore. GAC just launched the MQ, getting 102 miles per gallon, 79% better than the Prius, at $16,000. Geely has the Galaxy, getting 98 miles per gallon. Chery and Chang'an have their own hybrids. Every major Chinese automaker now has a plug-in hybrid that beats Toyota on efficiency and undercuts them on price. This isn't one company getting lucky. This is a national industrial strategy bearing fruit. China decided in 2010 that it would dominate electric and hybrid vehicles. It subsidized R&D, built charging infrastructure, and gave buyers tax breaks. Now they have the scale, supply chains, and technology. The West is playing catch-up on a field China designed. In Mexico, BYD is building a factory opening in 2025. BYD will be able to ship cars into the United States tariff-free under the USMCA trade agreement. The factory will have a capacity of 150,000 vehicles per year. The first model they're planning to build is the Seagull, a compact EV that costs $11,000 in China. If that car lands in the US at $15,000, it undercuts every car on the market. The cheapest new car in America is the Nissan Versa at $17,000. The cheapest EV is the Chevy Bolt at $26,000. A $15,000 BYD with 200 miles of range would rewrite the market overnight. Detroit knows this. That's why the lobbying has already started. In 2024, the Biden administration proposed a rule that would effectively ban Chinese-made software and hardware in connected vehicles, anything with internet connectivity, which is every car made after 2020. The official reason is national security. The real reason is economic survival. Because if BYD gets into the US market at scale, the same thing happens that happened with solar panels and smartphones. Chinese companies take the market, American companies bleed out. Toyota announced a $30 billion investment in battery production in 2024, the biggest commitment Toyota has ever made to electrification. But it won't hit full capacity until 2030. BYD is already there. That 6-year gap might as well be a generation in this industry. The DMI is dangerous to the incumbents because it's not trying to be a luxury product, it's trying to be the default. In China, a new car buyer can get a gasoline sedan for $12,000 or a DMI hybrid for $14,000. The hybrid costs $2,000 more up front, but saves $150 a month on fuel. The payback period is 13 months. After that, it's pure savings. That's not a green choice. That's a financial no-brainer. Western automakers are still selling hybrids as premium upgrades. The hybrid Accord costs $5,000 more than the gas version. The hybrid RAV4 costs $3,000 more. Once hybrids become the economically rational default, the gas car dies. Not because of regulations, because of math. Can the West build something competitive? Technically, yes. There's no magic in the DMI. The problem is cost structure. BYD can sell a car for $14,000 and make money because their supply chain is vertical. They make the batteries, electric motors, power electronics, and even semiconductors. A company like Ford buys all of those components from suppliers. Each supplier takes a margin. By the time the car is built, the cost floor is already higher than BYD's retail price. That's not a technology gap, that's a business model gap. You can't fix it with R&D. You fix it by rebuilding your entire supply chain. That takes a decade. BYD has that decade head start. 3 scenarios lie ahead. Scenario 1. Tariffs hold. The US and Europe keep Chinese cars out. BYD takes over the rest of the world. Western automakers become regional players. Scenario 2. Tariffs fall. Chinese hybrids flood in. Ford and GM retreat to trucks and SUVs. Toyota bleeds market share. Scenario 3. A Western company cracks the code and builds a plug-in hybrid matching BYD on cost. It's the lowest probability scenario, but the only one where the West stays in the game. Right now, we're on the path to Scenario 2. The DMI is just the beginning. BYD is working on the DMI 2.0, supposed to get 120 miles per gallon. They're also working on solid-state batteries. BYD will get there first because they have the scale to iterate faster. They build 3 million vehicles a year. Toyota builds 10 million, but only 200,000 plug-in hybrids. BYD builds 2 million plug-in hybrids. That's 10 times the data, 10 times the learning. The gap isn't closing, it's widening. Every quarter that passes, the DMI becomes cheaper and better, while the Prius stays the same. That's what exponential advantage looks like. A Chinese battery maker borrowed $3,000 to start a factory in Shenzhen. 30 years later, that factory builds the most efficient engine in history at half the price of the car that defined hybrid technology. The future of driving wasn't decided in Tokyo or Detroit. It got decided in Hangzhou and Shenzhen, while the West was debating whether EVs would ever be practical. Toyota spent 3 decades making hybrids premium. BYD spent 3 years making them inevitable. That difference is about to reshape the entire global auto industry.